Good morning, Arol. It's a pleasure to be here with this audience in a new chapter. Thanks for the introduction that you gave me in the studio. My name is Christian Garcia, and today, as an expert, I'm going to talk to you from China. I got a chance to be here in the mausoleum that is called Sun Yat-sen, and I asked myself about why this name. Why this mausoleum got the name? I started interviewing some people around here, and they give me some information about Sun Yat-sen, and I was quite surprised about this man because I really started admiring this man. This man was a revolutionary leader in China, and nowadays he's considered as the father of the modern China. And I say, okay, why? What is the reason? Okay, one of the main characteristics of this man is that he's an excellent patriot, and is considered not just from Chinese people, also for Taiwan. People in Taiwan consider him like a national hero. Okay, he was the leader in the revolution in 1919 that get the success against the Qing dynasty. Okay, and you're gonna ask, Qing dynasty, what does it mean? Qing dynasty was the dynasty that ruled over China during 2,000 years. 2,000 years that governed a dynasty, and one man that was called Sun Yat-sen was the man that fought against that dynasty and won. And in that victory, because of that victory, he was named as the president in China. Okay, but he was named in 1912, but because of pressure, and not just the pressure that gives China, is because of the pressure that gives the lords of the world. Okay, he decided to give up to his charge as president. But this man continue fighting for China, continue fighting for Taiwan, continue fighting for his principles and values, and he started a new revolution. Okay, so he started to do it with the nationalist politic party and with the Kuomintang, that is other nationalist politic party, and they decided to fight against the lords of the world. Okay, they decided to create an alliance against that war, and they won. Okay, they won against that. Okay, it's a figure of union. Okay, it's a figure of union because normally people from China and from Taiwan have conflicts, but this man decided to create alliance to fight against the lords of the world and to fight for the principles in China, to fight for a better life. Okay, it's admired for lots of people here. Okay, and three words that define this man are the following ones: democracy, nationalism, and people livelihood. Okay, he died at 58 years old. He was too young to his death, and died because of liver cancer. But it's considered as a man that fight all the time for the people that work, for workers, for Chinese people, for humble people, for the people that wake up each morning in China to take out the problems and to have a better lifestyle. Okay, I'm here in the mausoleum Sun Yat-sen that is located in the mountain Naija, and it's considered as the city of the revolution. So that's all. Was a pleasure to talk about this man, and we continue with another reporter and another nice character. Let's go with Lina, that is going to talk us as an expert about Boris Pasteur. Let's continue with Lina. Lina, it's your turn. Goodbye at all.
Thank you so much, Christian. Good morning, dear listeners. It's a pleasure to be here to talk about Boris Pasternak, a great Russian poet, novelist, and literary translator who was awarded to the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1958. Let's start telling you a little bit about his childhood. Boris Pasternak was born in 1890 in Moscow, Russia. In the school, Pasternak's first love was music, definitely. He was inspired by many people, but one of the most important was his mother, and a composer by the name of Scriabin. But after several years of studying, he abandoned music and decided to pursue philosophy in Germany. After 4 months of studying in Marburg, Germany, he returned to Russia to chase his new dream of becoming a writer. After failing at writing novels, Pasternak began to write poetry. This made him famous in Russia. Something really important is also the Russian Revolution, because during this revolution of 1917, many of Pasternak's family fled. But Pasternak decided to stay. He thought that the changes to his homeland would give him new writing material, and he was absolutely right. Pasternak got to work writing about how Russia was changing, observed what was happening to others as well as himself. The poems and short stories he wrote during this time are considered to be his best works. You have to read them because they are really nice. In the late 1920s, Joseph Stalin took control of communist Russia and created harsh censorship laws against anyone producing anything that went against the ideals of the government. Pasternak did not like the new government and Stalin, so he began to write many poems lashing out at the dictatorship. These poems began to be passed around in secret and made Pasternak a known celebrity in the USSR. For example, anyone found with Pasternak's works or works like it was arrested. Some years later, Pasternak became very depressed and left poetry and began to finish a few of his novels, which he had started in the 1920s, the most famous of which being Dr. Zhivago, which he published in 1957. One of the most famous includes a man who works of the government. His family leaves him for safety, but he stays and does what he needs to stop the revolutionaries, but is eventually executed by them. This collection of poems was banned in the Soviet Union, but it was smuggled out as well, and it made Boris Pasternak even more famous. Pasternak finished 2 novels before he stopped writing again in the late 1950s. In 1958, Pasternak won the Nobel Literature Prize for Dr. Zhivago and a quatrain of Sleeping Beauty's Tomb. But he was forced to refuse by the USSR because the words which won him the prize clearly spoke against most everything the communist government was doing. The Soviet Union was tired of Pasternak, but didn't want to eliminate him because he was now internationally famous, so they gave him the choice to leave. But he declined the offer, saying that he loved his homeland and didn't think he could ever leave it again. In 1960, Boris Pasternak died of lung cancer at the age of 70. Those around him said he looked as if he was happy to die. Today, Pasternak is most known for the ways in which he spoke out against the Soviet Union and how he made it well known that communism was very horrible and depressing to all those it affected. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to be here. It is really interesting to share this information to you. I hope that you go in deep about this interesting author.